Sorry. You don't have to spin around. I didn't mean to scare you. Good evening. I call to order this August 11th, 2026 meeting of the Blair Mayor and City Council. I am Mindy Rump, the Mayor of Blair, and I am pleased that you have joined us this evening. This is a public meeting and you are part of the process. I encourage you to participate, share your thoughts, and I will do everything that I can to make sure that your voice is heard. We do have several rules to help us proceed with the meeting, and I ask that you please keep them in mind. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off. If you need to take a call, step outside the chamber. When you wish to speak, simply raise your hand and I will call you forward to the podium. Brenda Wheeler, our city clerk, must record who you are, so please state your name, spell your last name, and state your address. Keep your remarks brief so that others have the opportunity to speak. Try to keep it to about 3 minutes. And please direct your comments to either myself, to City Council, or to City staff. A copy of the Open Meetings Act has been posted by both exits, and we will begin this evening with the roll call of members. Banner?
Present.
Paulson?
Here.
Long?
Here.
Wolf?
Here.
Willis? Clark?
Here.
Letcher?
Yep.
Highfill?
Here.
All members present except Willis. Thank you. If you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And yes, I see some of you noticed that our Open Meetings Act is different. It's not a poster anymore. There is a copy for you to take with you if you wish. But it's there. Item number 4, approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Please register your vote. All council members present voting aye. Motion passes. Item number 5, consider ordinance 2624 on second reading approving a rezone application submitted by the City of Blair for tax lots 143, 145, and 146 located in Section 23, Township 18 North, Range 11 east of the 6 p.m., Washington County, Nebraska, otherwise known as 12645 U.S. Highway 30 and 9325 State Highway 133, changing the zoning districts from residential medium density to agricultural highway commercial. Mr. Green.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sorry.
Right.
Council members, good evening. As you recall, this item was approved just on first reading at the last council meeting. There was some concern because previously the property owners, the Soderbergs, had expressed some concern about having the rezoning done because they, number one, were still living on one of the lots. The other one was, at that point in time, being marketed from a residential purpose. We'd even mentioned that night that some commercial vendors had been looking at that location, and so we reached out, or Jeff Byerman reached out to the Soderbergs immediately after the meeting to, number one, inform them that it did get approved, but just on first reading, that it would be on tonight's agenda again, and we specifically asked them, are you still opposed to the rezoning of all 3 of the tax lots? And he replied back, and I forwarded that on to you, and it's in the packet, that no, they're not opposed to that anymore. They have it under contract. We've continued to have conversations with the contractors, and it looks like, so far in their due diligence, nothing has surprised them. They've shown us a couple other concept drawings for what they might be interested in doing. They've been talking with different businesses about potentially locating in there with commercial property. And so I guess I just wanted you to know that so far the Soderbergs have not been objecting to it at all, and they would be fine if you wanted to go ahead and approve it tonight. If you did it tonight, then you'd be waiving the third reading and then just go ahead and approve it completely. So any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. We have comments from the public.
Hi, Christina Barta, 12861 Candy Road, 26, Blair.
Spell your last name, please.
BARTA.
Thank you.
Yep. So I just have a question for the developer. Mr. Green said there's some concepts, ideas of what could possibly go in there. And I think from the first meeting, these are the same people who had developed Blair Crossing. Is that correct? Correct. Okay. So I know that when that was approved last year, the city was quite generous with TIF and LB 840, and then also paying, what was it, 2.4 million of the 3.2 infrastructure costs. So is this deal hinging on a portion of an investment by the city to get this development and the commercial stuff going. Is the deal at all being impacted by anything that the city might have to invest to get it to go? And then if it were to fall through after the rezone either today or at the third reading, then would the Soderbergs not be able to sell it residential if something happened? So that's my only question. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff want to address that question?
Sure, excellent questions. Again, this is the land developer, not necessarily the end user. What the end users might ask for at the time of building a building or something like that, we don't know yet. But so far with the land developer, they've not asked to use TIF, they've not asked for LB 840 or any other local funds. We have talked a little bit about the CID process that's now available here in the state of Nebraska, whether that might be an approach that they would like to take for their development, so they're considering that. They will need eventually, because I'm sure there'll be some replatting that will take place, there'll be a developer's agreement at that point in time. And in fact, we've told them that we would probably want to have the developer's agreement or have the developer's agreement state that $800,000 would come back to the city to help compensate for the development for Honeybee Lane, which their property never paid for. If you recall, the original plan was to do that as a street assessment district, but with street assessment districts here in the state of Nebraska, if you get objections from 51% or more of the property owners, which the Soderbergs owned more than 50% of the property, then you couldn't do a street assessment district, and so they objected to that. So that part of that side of the street has never contributed anything towards Honeybee Lane. So we've had conversations about them contributing $800,000 back. And then depending on what kind of commercial they do, that's always been intended to be potentially a 3-lane road as well with a dedicated center turn lane. That oftentimes helps with just the traffic movements through the area, and they would be responsible to put in that 3rd lane at their cost, as well as that $800,000 back to the city.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Having none?
I'd like to say something that, you know, this area is a gateway to our city from the south and the west, and I think it's important that we carefully consider what face we want residents and visitors to see when they approach the city. I'm really not in favor of changing the zoning to a commercial straightly, from a residential medium to highway commercial or just straight commercial, till we have more specific plans to what the developers or builders would want to have. There's always a possibility they could request CUPs, so we could more closely control what goes in there specifically, rather than a broad rezoning of those properties. Until we know more certainly what is going to go in there, I think it's very important what aspect of businesses or commercial development or residential buildings can go there. So I really am reluctant to rush into rezoning this property at this time.
I think it's ideal for commercial, especially being on the 2 major highways coming into Blair. That's where you want commercial. It's not where you necessarily want residential, single-family homes. It's a good spot for the departments. That's you know, obviously why we allow them to be there. But it'd be a great place for commercial, great place to expand it, you know, south and west. I think it'd be very beneficial for the city.
But until we know more specifically, I'd hate to see a truck stop go up there. I mean, no one said anything about truck stop, but I'm just saying that's within the realm of possibility when you broadly rezone something into commercial, the range of businesses that can then be put there. Whereas if we leave it more restricted, we could say, okay, under a CUP, we could allow some retail businesses to go there, or of other types of businesses or commercial development. But if you rezone it as commercial, that leaves that open to a lot more, and then we don't really have as much say over what happens there.
I think we have plenty of say over what's going to happen in there. If we don't want a truck stop, and we don't want the next Buc-ee's in Nebraska, then we tell them no.
But if that's allowed under a commercial development, then they don't have to ask for the permission for that.
It's got to fit. It's got to fit our future plan. You know, it's got to fit our zoning. I think commercial would be good, and I don't think they're going to put a truck stop in there.
That is just an example.
Comment the public?
Mary Berg, BERG 1113, Joanne Drive, Blair, Nebraska. I guess just the conversation made me want to ask a question. Once it is zone commercial, and if a commercial business comes in and they ask for a permit and it's within the realm of that zoning, can you deny it? I think now that's a question that needs to be addressed. I mean, if it fits, can you say a truck stop can't go in, but another gas station can? Well, I guess I just want to know, what is your jurisdiction over that? Because if it is anything commercial, what does that entail in our code? I don't know. So I guess that's just a general question I think may have popped up in most people's minds right now with the conversation.
Thank you. Is staff want to address that question?
Yeah, good question, and this is kind of a zoning 101, class a little bit. Keep in mind, for all municipalities, zoning is generally divided into two broader categories. Uses that are allowed by right, and then uses that allow some kind of a conditional use permit or a special use permit. Communities call them different things. You're exactly right, though. Uses that are allowed by right in certain zoning districts don't have to come back and get permission from the council. They don't have to go to the planning commission or something like that. It's one of the reasons why when you lay out your zoning books and all those various uses that are in there, it's important that the community feels comfortable that these uses that are allowed by right really are things that they would feel like would be a good fit anywhere. Anything that you have any concern with, or you'd want to know more details about how they might want to do what they're looking at doing, generally are the ones that you would then set up to be under the conditional use approach. And so they would have to come and get a permit for that. And as we've always told the Planning Commission and other councils, that if it's in the zoning book as a conditional use, it should be allowed some places, but not necessarily every place. Because there are certain places where you just feel like that's not a good fit for that kind of a use. But then you'd have to start looking for whatever zoning district it is, what could go there. There are pros and cons either way. Some businesses won't look at purchasing property if it's not zoned right, because they don't want to have to buy, they don't want to look at appearing to buy something and then come and be denied. They also oftentimes don't want to invest a lot of resources in doing a detailed layout of what the facility might look like, depending on what kind of questions you have. And so it's kind of a give or take. It's residential right now. Nothing stops somebody today from buying it and coming in and asking for a building permit for a single family house and being able to build on it right now. Your challenge, and the big question for you always is, what is the highest and best use for that property? And sometimes you have to kind of turn a little bit of a blind eye to what's the current use right now. But here you have a property owner who has at least acknowledged that if the community represented by the council that decides that highest and best use is commercial for that area because of its location, because of other purposes, then they wouldn't be opposed to that rezoning. But once it's rezoned, there are certain uses that are allowed by right and that could come in automatically. Many other ones, though, gas stations included, require a conditional use permit. And so you will have some say on some of those uses.
Thank you. The prospective developers, do they want to come forward and say anything? You don't have to. It's all right.
John Mabry, M-A-B-R-E-Y, 1019 North 190th, Omaha. Right now, we don't have any idea what's going to go in there. We're just working on the due diligence mostly to see if the property is suitable for our uses in the future. And we're making good progress on that. Everything's looking pretty good. So then our next step is we're working on a grading plan and more detailed layouts once we kind of get that grading plan finalized and the utility plans, just to see what we think we can find users for there. But right now we don't know, and we would prefer to have it zoned commercial Because if we find somebody that wants to do a deal, we say, well, that's fine, but we have to go before the city council and make sure that you're okay, you know, so we want to have some flexibility to be able to tell users that, yes, you are legal to go there. And we know that there are some that will take more work to get approved by you. So we are aware of that, and also we don't want to make anything or approve anything or sell to anybody that will kind of junk up the area, because I was involved with the apartments, and I don't want to kind of mess that up.
So if you had some options out there, some people came to your doorstep and said, I've got these 3 things I'd like to put there, what would be 3 ideal things or 2 ideal things would you like to see there?
Well, I would love to see a grocery store. That's kind of the first thing. And I'd like to build a strip shopping center and maybe get some restaurants in that strip center. And then I think that another one is like a medical clinic, and then also some senior housing. So that's kind of the route we're going.
So senior housing or senior?
Well, senior apartments, like 55 and older apartments.
Okay.
I worked for a real estate developer for a long time. In the last 15 years, I did a lot of assisted livings, and I think there's a need here, but I don't know. I haven't really studied that at all yet. So.
There is a need here.
There is a
Yes,
Mr. Green, would senior living be permitted under a commercial?
with the CUP.
Right now, you have 3 tax lots, and so they're gonna have to do the platting anyway. It could be, depending upon what their final decision is, that when they do the platting, that part of it, especially on the west side, kind of over on the Highway 30 side, where Troy Soderberg's house is now, that's probably gonna be the location for more of this potential residential use. They could easily come back and then say, well, if the zoning doesn't really work for what they're wanting to do, they might be able to get a conditional use permit for a certain kind of use. If not, they could come back and ask for it to be rezoned back to residential. But again, just kind of ultimately depends upon what kind of use they're looking for at any one location. Right now, though, the way we've described it to them is commercial gives them the most flexibility to probably do what they're looking at doing, but we can also always move backwards a little bit, if you will, on the zoning to allow something less dense and more residential.
We have staff in the back as well.
One other thing I'd like to add, Bill, we did create a special housing overlay that we put in commercial. It doesn't allow for single family, but it does for apartments less than 48, cottage villages, areas like this. Plus, when they do the development and plat it, they can always add a PUD, plan unit development, to add special things to that too. Now, that all does have to be voted on by council.
Right.
But by
Thank
the
you.
same token, under the existing zoning, the residential medium, could they get a CUP for retail development, or say for a restaurant, or,
Not normally.
okay?
Yeah, I mean,
Or they could come back then and ask for a rezoning for those specific purposes.
sure.
Whereas if we already approve a commercial and they decide to build a self-storage lot that's allowed under that, then we really don't have much say regarding that.
Don't have much say. Well, it depends.
Well, I mean, about that being placed there.
Again, it depends upon the actual use. Most of the uses that tend to be objectionable are already in your conditional use required area of zoning. And so they would have to come back and get permission for that.
But what I'm saying though, if it's rezoned to commercial, I think that would allow for self-storage.
No, not without a conditional use permit. So, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, good zoning, and our book is not perfect, but good zoning is laid out in such a way that the things that naturally might have some objection require a conditional use permit. And therefore, it forces them to have to come back both to the planning commission and the council. And that's why I've always urged you, there are times you have to say no. Now, I don't necessarily like it when you say no, because we're working with developers and, they don't like to hear no either. But there are times where you just have to be prepared to say, no, we'd love to have you in town, but not there, because right there is not the best place for you. Someplace else is. That's the way the zoning works best.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? council. How would you like to proceed?
I'd like to introduce ordinance 2624.
An ordinance rezoning tax lots 143, 145, and 146, all located in section 23, township 18 north, range 11 east of 6B in Washington County, Nebraska, from RM residential medium density district to ACH agricultural highway commercial district, repealing all ordinance parts of conflict herewith, and providing this motion to be full force and effect, published in pamphlet form.
Are we waiving the reading of the second?
I was going to offer
Okay,
that.
okay.
I was going to offer that. I move the statutory ruling regarding reading on
It's still 3 different days.
still 3 different dates. Yeah, but be suspended for consideration of the ordinance.
Second. Question.
The question before the council is, shall the statutory rule requiring reading on 3 different days be suspended? Please register your vote.
Council members Banner voting nay, Clark, Highfield, Letcher, Long, Paulson, and Wolf voting aye.
I move final passage of ordinance number 2624.
Do you need to read it again?
But you got to read it again.
Yeah, I'm saying you're sleeping.
No, it's all right.
An ordinance rezoning tax lot 143, 145, and 146, all located in section 23, township 18 north, range 11 east of 6B in Washington County, Nebraska, from RM residential medium density district to ACH agricultural highway commercial district, repealing all ordinance parts of ordinance conflict herewith, and providing this ordinance will be in full force and effect, and published in pamphlet form.
Now I move final passage of ordinance number 2624.
Second.
Question.
The question now before the council is, shall ordinance number 2624 be passed and adopted? Please register your vote.
Councilmember Vanner voting nay, Councilmember Clark, Highfield, Letcher, Long, Paulson, and Wolf voting aye.
I declare ordinance number 2624 duly adopted. Item number 6. Consider ordinance 2625, amending the Blair City Municipal Code, Chapter 1, Article 3, relating to appointed city officials, updating the power, duties, and responsibilities of certain appointed positions, and eliminating obsolete provisions. Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mayor. I have to apologize for this item. Unfortunately, there was some miscommunication between myself and Brenda. It's my fault, but I was under the impression that she had already posted the actual changes in the language. What was posted was just the ordinance kind of cover page, if you will, that references this, and so I would ask that you go ahead and table this, or postpone it until the August 25th meeting. For those who may be here tonight but not able to come back on the 25th, this was simply a change in the municipal code that deals with the section regarding appointed positions. One of the mayor's requests for staff was to put together some changes that would better reflect exactly what the state statutes require certain positions to be appointed positions, and other positions, even though we have them right now and they're appointed, such as some of the assistant administrator positions, if the state statute doesn't specifically require them to be appointed, to not have them be appointed, they'd be hired like any other employee would be hired. Sometimes being just a hired employee puts you in more protected situation than being an appointed position, because appointed officials, are appointed by the mayor, confirmed by the council, but they can also be removed at any time by the mayor and by the council. And so in my profession, we sometimes joke with one another that, your tenure is only as long as until the next council meeting, because you're never quite sure when they might choose to let you go. But if you're a regular hired employee, you have a little bit more rights, usually under the law. It has to be just cause and some things like that, oftentimes for a legally sound dismissal. But anyway, all of that has been put together, but unfortunately, we didn't get it posted in time, and so again, requesting that you would table this until the 25th. Thank you.
Thank you.
I move we table ordinance 2625 till August 25.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to postpone ordinance 2625. Please register your vote.
All council members present voting aye.
Motion passes to table it. I said it out loud, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Item number 7, consider resolution 2026-88, supporting the city's request to rename No Name Creek to Carter Valley Creek. Mr. Byerman.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Rump, and good evening, City Council. Jeff Pyerman, Community Development Director. Thank you for putting this resolution on. It started out one time when Mayor Rump said, kind of tired of calling it No Name Creek. It should have a name. I did look into it. The U.S. Geological Society, with the federal government, does have a domestic names committee. Without the state of Nebraska controlling the geographic names of creeks, streams, this area, geological areas, it goes to the federal government. So I looked into it, and yes, we can apply for a name, not a name change, because there's really no name for it. Mayor Rump suggested Carter Valley Creek because of a couple of reasons. There is a large stone at Rhodes Park with a plaque on it that talks about the Carter Valley School, which was here prior to the city of Blair in 1869 being platted. And the three brothers, Jacob, Alexander, and TM, were the first residents in this area who actually created and farmed this valley in, I think, 1855 up until it was bought by Blair. At that time, it was called several different names. One of them was Carter Valley. I looked into other names in the area. There's nothing resembling or close to Carter Valley Creek. This would be good not only just because it's going to have a name, but also for people to kind of understand what's going on. I did see a FEMA chart that had the name South Creek on it, which is incorrect. South Creek is actually northwest of Blair. I've heard also called No Name Creek, Unnamed Creek in this area. So one of the things in doing an application is to have letters of recommendation. A resolution will help. In your packet, there was a letter from the Washington County Museum, all in favor of this, and also from the NRD. So those two letters and a resolution will enable me to submit this rather quickly. Could take me anywhere between 3 months to a year. It's not a long process, but it's a six process thing I'm not going to bore you with, but it does say right here, could take 60 days to 1+ years, so there's no guarantee on it, but you got to start sometime. So that is the reason for Carter Valley Creek. I won't bore you with any more historical data. Any questions for staff on this?
Thank you. Any comments from the public? I know you want to, John, because you in history.
Yep.
How can
Okay.
I live without a name this whole time?
Very good. All right, council, how would you like to move forward?
I would like to introduce Resolution 2026-88.
Councilmember Polson introduced resolution number 2026-88, supporting the city's request to rename No Name Creek to Carter Valley Creek.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-88 as presented. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-88. Please register your vote.
All council members present voting aye.
Motion passes. Item number 8, consider resolution 2026-89, approving an agreement with JEO Consulting Group, Inc. for professional services related to evaluating options for restoring and improving the second floor of City Hall building as a functional community event and civic space. Mr. Barrow.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Before you tonight is a resolution approving an agreement with JEO to do a study upstairs and create a planning grant. This is a planning grant, so at the end of this, we're going to, they'll be evaluating the accessibility, fire, life safety issues that are going on upstairs, prepare some conceptual floor plans and supporting illustrations. They'll actually have an opportunity for public input on what the public would like to see upstairs in City Hall. And they'll prepare a final conceptual design and preliminary construction cost opinion. These aren't construction design plans. This is for a planning grant, giving you an idea of what it would take to redo the upstairs. Everything that I've seen previously that we've looked at didn't have hard numbers to it. It was just some ideas of what might work. And that was, again, that was years ago. So I think this would be a more current bunch of options for us to look at and take into account a lot of the current building codes that we're actually enforcing here. Months ago, you authorized us to apply for civic and community center funding grant. I received that grant. It's for $15,000. The total cost of this agreement with JEO would be $30,000, so half the cost of the project.
Any questions for staff? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public?
John Stewart, 1034 North 27th Street, Blair, Nebraska.
Will you spell your last name, please?
Stewart.
Thank you.
I gotta move this down so I can see you. I don't want to correct Aaron too badly. The very first study was done a while back, and when I was talking to the Carter brothers, it's been a while, but there were hard numbers on that. But I didn't agree with those numbers either. The second one, he's correct. It was more of a concept, but I am fully in support of you guys exploring this avenue. The mayor knows I'll vote for a position on any community study, but hopefully third time is a charm. This has been on my first bucket list for over 20 years, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Jennifer Reslick, REYZLIK, 141 East Bainbridge in Blair. I just want to applaud saying I appreciate the effort to repurpose an existing building in Blair for the betterment of our community and our people. My only question was in reference to the past study. I didn't know what happened to that, what the status was, so I do appreciate getting a little highlight on that because I did reach out asking some questions. Even though we didn't have hard numbers, are we able to take anything that we learned, pros and cons from the past study, and apply them to this study to maybe save a little money? And I do appreciate knowing that $15,000 did come from a grant so that it's not a full $30,000, because I think the taxpayers do want to know we keep throwing money at the same projects, but we're not seeing a transformation. So if we go forward on this, I think it would be great for Blair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments from the public?
Can I jump back in on that?
Well, real quick, to answer Jennifer's question during the committee meeting, Aaron said that HGM did the last study, and there is drawings that are done, and those are going to go to JEO.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Having none, Judiciary Committee.
We met on it, it's budget time, it's a hard one to swallow just because of that, but then again, we are getting $15,000, which is 50% of the grant. And it's gonna take quite some time, so it's not like we're gonna jump into it and spend all sorts of money. It's gonna be a couple of years probably, by the time we do it. And let the public be aware that if this does happen, it's gonna be a big project, and we're gonna probably have to go back out and ask for that 1/2 cent tax that we asked for 2 years ago. And failed, so if this does happen, we're probably gonna have to have it, because we're not gonna be able to fund it otherwise, so. But this is a good study, it gives some facts, some conceptuals, and some approximate costs.
And it's incredible space up there. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in this room have been up there, and if you haven't, it's wonderful, and it's a diamond in the rough, and it's sitting there not being used, and it's heartbreaking because it would be a great space for community, and they deserve to use it.
And also, just real quickly, one of the things we discussed is doing this study, and then the next step, which again doesn't really necessarily dictate that we're dedicated to carry through the project, but it allows us to apply for even larger grants to defray any costs for the eventual remodeling of that space. So spending a little bit of, which doesn't sound, $15,000, it's a lot, but a little bit of seed money could lead to a lot larger, much, much larger grant further on down the road to help defray any costs for this project.
Good point. Any other questions? I'd like to introduce Resolution 2026-08.
Councilmember Highfield introduced resolution number 2025-89, approving an agreement with JEO Consulting Group for professional services related to evaluating options for restoring and improving the second floor of the City Hall building as a functional community event and civic space.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-089 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-089. Please register your vote.
All council members present voting aye.
Motion passes. Item number 9, consider resolution 2026-090, approving a codification agreement with American Legal Publishing, LLC, for the recodification of the City of Blair Municipal Code and the conversion of the city's zoning and subdivision regulations to an online format.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor
Scott.
and Council. David Scott, Deputy City Administrator of Operations. I'm here to talk to you about codifying your ordinances, super riveting stuff, right? City's municipal code has not been undergone a comprehensive legal review for compliance with state statutes since the late 1990s and early 2000s. Since then, or even before then, city clerk has went through the process of codifying all city ordinances and codes that the council seems deemed to fit to approve. I don't want to insult Brenda. Brenda, you're wonderful. I love what you're doing. It's fantastic. But Brenda will admit she's not an attorney, right? A comprehensive legal review would be provided in either one of the proposals that we had listened to through either Civic Plus or American Legal. These are probably the two biggest companies in the state that do this. There may be others, but these are the two that most cities are using. In fact, I was kind of surprised when I got here to find out that Brenda was still doing that on her own. That's kudos to you for doing that all those years. But it is time, I think, for us to have a comprehensive legal review of our code. And not only that, but what this provides is online hosting as well. So we wanted to improve the look and feel for not only city staff trying to research specific items, but also for the general public. This would allow a link on our website that anybody from the public wanting to build a fence or whatever it is they're wanting to do and wanting to check the city's legal codes for, they would be able to click on that button and be able to access anything that they need. We did review the two different companies, and we've sat through demos from both Civic Plus, who currently hosts our city's website, and American Legal. And now, obviously, if you total this up, American Legal was about $12,685 up front, and Civic Plus was $17,200. That wasn't really the reasons why we wanted to recommend American Legal, not because they were less, but we recommend American Legal because we really liked the functionality of it. Brenda and I sat through lengthy demonstrations of both companies, and American Legal, well, actually, I'll start with Civic Plus. Civic Plus had they would put 3 links on your website, one to your codified ordinances, one to your planning and zoning, and one to your subdivisions, and you would have to kind of go through all 3 if you wanted to get that full process, whereas American Legal included that all in one link. You can search a specific thing, like I said, putting up a fence or whatever it is you're looking for, and it would bring up all those things for you and kind of walk you through that. So we did kind of prefer that functionality better. And I think that's kind of what led us to wanting to recommend American Legal rather than Civic Plus. But I do think it's time for us to do this. And also, I know that the process Brenda goes through is very, very time-consuming and very lengthy and very in-depth. And I would be thrilled if Brenda would stay another 5 years, but I don't know that she's planning to do that. And so that's why we're bringing this to you at this time, because the process of going through this comprehensive legal review is going to take 12 to 18 months. And so when and if Brenda does decide to retire, it would be nice if the new person came in not in the middle of this process or not trying to figure that out, but to have something in place that would be usable and very user-friendly for her, the city staff, and the general public. So that's why we're bringing it to you at this point. And it's probably also important to notice that American Legal is allowing us to break this into 3 different fiscal years since the process does take so long, so we would not have to pay it all up front. I believe it comes out to like 4,000 some, or 5,700 each year for 3 fiscal years, so that would be very helpful as well.
Talk about the maintenance costs.
Oh, yeah, and the maintenance costs are very reasonable. In fact, we have that on here. American Legal came up to be about 1,785 every year. Civic Plus was 2,850 every year. Another reason why we liked American Legal was they charge on some of these items per page. So on something like subdivisions, where you're not going to do a ton of those in a year, the Civic Plus would charge you a flat, I believe it was $1,000, is that what it was, $1,000? And we figured that's a lot of pages at what they were charging for, I can't remember the exact amount per page, but it was $23, is that? $23 per page. That would be a lot of pages. So we just thought it was better financially to, again, with American Legal, but I do think that's very reasonable. I mean, to provide this service for us, and every time Brenda sends them something, they will update it for us automatically and do all that legal review that she now spends a lot of her time doing for $1,700 a year. And it also, having a legal review, they have a team of lawyers that will go through it, also kind of absolves you a little bit more of the legal responsibility if somebody were to say, hey, that didn't pass, whatever the state statute said. Well, the company that did that would be the one that decided it did. So anyway.
Mr. Scott, didn't you also let us know that they will not only do that, but as the legislature passes new laws that may
correct.
apply to cities,
Yeah,
Class
sorry, I
1
forgot
cities, they'll go ahead and review those and propose.
Yeah,
worded-
they'll propose changes to you as the unicameral makes their legislative bills, which they make several of every year. They will review all those and let the city know, hey, here's where we feel there's areas of concern that you might need to address if you want to
That's part of the
stay within state statute. Yeah, sorry, I
Right.
didn't mention
No,
that. That is important. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Sorry, any other questions?
It's another tool in the tool belt,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And more transparency to the public.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public?
Sean Cooper, COPER 2300 College Drive. I like this idea. I'm just curious that, is there some sort of long-term contract, or is this a year-by-year thing? Is there an end date for this, or does it just go on forever? That's all I'm curious about. Thank you.
They haven't sent us a contract yet, only the proposal. I assume you can probably do it's going to be at least 12 to 18 months, right? Because that's what it takes them to do the review, and that's what you're going to be paying over 3 years. So, I would assume you would at least have a contract for ongoing maintenance for that long. And I don't know, Brenda, I don't remember seeing the actual contract, only the proposal, but I'm thinking you could go for however many years you wanted to do. But it would take at least 12 to 18 months for them to get the process through.
And David, the maintenance is every year then going forward. So
Correct.
It's not like
Correct.
you have to spend this large amount every 5 years or something like that.
No, it'd be just be that same amount moving
Right,
forward.
the larger amount is the overhaul and the
That's the
recodification.
upfront, yeah.
It being placed on our website with the appropriate links and so far,
Correct.
and so on. And then the annual maintenance and the letting us know these are the changes due to legislature and so on. That's included in the annual subscription,
Correct,
which is
correct.
$1,700 a month, or
Correct.
annually.
Correct.
This is not just for the city, this is for the public. Anybody who wants to search any of our ordinances
Yeah.
or anything, they can go do it.
That's what I
It's
like the
easier.
most about it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Judiciary Committee, what say you?
Well, we reviewed this, and it seemed really like a no-brainer. Again, if we were to lose the very able capabilities of Mrs. Wheeler, we would be in a very tight position. So, and hopefully that won't be for a very long time.
Yes, you're here.
Yes. But to be well-prepared as a municipality, I think that the Judiciary Committee, I should say, thought this was a very reasonable cost and fairly quick. I mean, really with what has to be done, a year to 18 months to have this revamped and placed onto the website, and a fantastic tool, as the mayor said, for the entire public. I think we pretty much endorsed this item. And that being said, I'd like to introduce resolution number 2026-090.
Resolution number 2026-90, approving a codification agreement for American Legal Publishing LLC for the recodification of the City of Blair Municipal Code and the conversion of city zoning and subdivision regulations to an online format was introduced by Councilmember Banner.
I'd like to recommend adopting the resolution number 2026-090 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2026-090. Please register your vote.
All council members present voting aye.
Motion passes. Item number 10, consider resolution 2026-091, approving an amended contract for services with Washington County Chamber. Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mayor. As you recall, about a year ago, we had our current service agreement with the Chamber codified and approved by the council. At that point in time, they had come that night and asked for a little bit additional money, and had also asked for a couple other minor changes to the contract and some additional fees going forward. And so we bring this to you tonight. Basically, just a couple changes on pages 2 and 3 of this particular document. One would be increasing the annual contribution from what was $40,000 this year to $60,000, and then use that as the base going forward. What do they get, or what do we get, I guess, service-wise for those additional amounts? Again, there were a variety of different expenses that came from Tannenbaum that they're not going to be responsible for. Part of what the city's goal was is to see this community festival become a little bit more grounded in the chamber and the community. And then you'll notice on page 3 that the city then has removed a couple of the things that we had been responsible for in the past, kind of clarified what in-kind work looks like as far as us helping with setting up traffic assistance, traffic control, road closures, detours, things like that. One of the things I might mention too is for an organization like the Chamber of Commerce, it's really challenging for them just relying upon dues from their members when they're really trying to get all of the business community to be a supportive member, to have the resources to hire really good staff, and specifically the executive director and then some support staff. So Nikki Ferguson's been doing a fantastic job, I think, a member of the community, really plugged in. And so I think it's a good value for the community overall. And again, the chamber does function kind of as our convention visitors bureau. So when businesses are looking at coming, or people just are wondering, what's new in and around Blair, oftentimes it's the Chamber of Commerce that they call and contact. And so they encourage people to come and check out Washington County and check out Blair. So any questions for me on this?
If the chamber is passing, passing costs on to us in a certain instance, as you said, why are we paying them more? Why aren't we just keeping the base rate what it is, and we're gonna keep the money to pay those things?
Yeah, well, again, depending on how you look at it, we had been reimbursing them for some of those costs. We'll no longer do that. They're just gonna eat those costs as part of this. But again, part of the base substance service that we're getting for is making sure that they've got some professional staff there to be able to run the chamber.
What are we doing for an annual increase currently?
Right now, again, it's just set at the $40,000 plus 4% each year. And this would increase.
60,000 you're proposing to increase it to at 4%. In 10 years, we're paying 88,000. I just think that nobody in here probably gets an annual raise of 4% every year.
And that's one of the numbers that could be looked at now, could be looked at sometime in the future if you feel like we're outpacing what the economy's doing.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard what we're getting for an extra 20 grand a year. I haven't heard that yet. That's my heartburn. And the finance committee hasn't talked yet, so maybe we need to hear from them.
When we reviewed it, it appeared that, so the chamber is leading up, doing the Tannenbaum, the fireworks, gateway. They need administrative staff to be able to have someone there to coordinate all those, plus the regular other events that the chamber does that also benefit the city. So rather than detail someone from the city to be dedicated to working on those items, the chamber takes it. In exchange for that, of course, we're giving them the money. They're not a direct employee of the city. They work for the chamber, but they're taking part of the responsibilities from city staff that would otherwise be on city staff if we want to have those events. Then I'm sure there's other certain expenses. I'm not sure exactly what they all are as far as, I don't know if I know it says we provide some sort of the office, not office supplies, but equipment or something like that, I think it said in the,
There are promotional supplies and
promotional
materials.
supplies, materials.
I mean, we're doing the advertising. I mean, Jake does the advertising for everything. All these three subjects we're talking about that the chamber's supposed to be doing everything on. I'm sure they put it on their website, but Jake's putting it all over everything else.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes, obviously, one of the things that our communications director does is takes what other people present and then just pushes it out through our social media routines. And he does that, but he doesn't spend his own time preparing it. He usually takes what they prepare and pushes it out.
Oh, and then also the art alley events, that was another thing.
Say it again.
The art alley events that are happening at least once a month over the summer. It seems like there's
Fourth Friday, or whatever they
Yep.
call it.
the night market, I think, as well. So, these are things that I think that, we want to continue doing.
I'm not saying we should continue doing it, but
Right.
where's the $20,000? I mean, where's it go? Who's been paying it?
Mhm.
Literally, we should be able to see that, right?
Mhm.
If we're paying the chamber, we're paying 40, and then are we already paying another 20, throughout this last fiscal year?
Mhm.
I don't know. That's my question. If we're doing something like that, then, we should discuss it that way, but to me, it's, somebody's hiding a pickle here. I can't support this until I see some more evidence.
Yeah, and all I can say is I know, when the chamber was here last year, originally our budget last year was $30,000. They came and begged that night that you would increase it, as far as you could. You increased it to 40 last year. You agreed to bring it back again. I think from their perspective, they would like to have, professional staff that's getting paid a comparative wage, and it's really tough for them to do based on the dues that they get just from the business community.
Let's have Nikki come in August 25th and tell us what we're gonna get and where the costs are really going.
Mr. Green, can we ask him to present a budget? A budget of what, of the 60,000, like what they want?
Yeah.
I think that's, you're right, Mr. Heifel, I think that's
Yeah, and I can, unfortunately, Nikki was not able to be here tonight. She can be here on the 25th. I know Mike Rooks is going to be here on the 25th as well. She can bring her budget. One of the things that we changed here was making sure that the city staff had an ex officio seat. And so either myself or Aaron Barrow have been going to all of the chamber meetings. And again, she can bring a copy of the budget and kind of some of the detailed things that they're doing in town.
I don't wanna speak for the rest of the council.
I agree, and I think the 4% seems a little on the high side. I mean, maybe 2%, but 4% to me, every year it grows. Then you're doing 4% on top of that, 4% again. And like I said, in 10 years, it's $88,000, and that seems,
I mean, go back to the dog pound. I mean, when they came in, they tell us exactly where their money's going and where they need it. This, I don't see anything here. We table it till next meeting.
Postpone, our attorney is going to remind us, postpone.
Yeah, do
I do the same
table,
thing myself, get away from the T word, postpone.
I'd like to propose that we postpone resolution number 2026-091 till the August 25th city council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to postpone Resolution 2026-91. Please register your vote.
Next one, too.
Well, that might be,
All council members present voting aye.
Item is postponed. Item number 11, consider Resolution 2026-92, approving agreement between the City of Blair and Gateway Development Corporation.
And I have the same heartburn on this one as the last one, exact same. Mike should be here and tell us what he wants. I know he can't be here tonight, that's fine.
Postpone it.
Postpone it.
Oh, it's going to be a long one.
Put that in motion.
All right, you want to put that in motion?
Let's put that in motion.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So moved. Second.
Did you get that, Brenda? Sounded like Wolf made the motion to postpone and Letcher seconded the motion. Oh, was it Eiffel?
I don't care.
Whomever. All right, please register your vote.
All council members present voting aye.
Item is postponed to the 25th. Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to postpone my comments. No, yeah, we're just going to wait for everything. No.
We're gonna give you a 2-week notice for that.
Thank you.
But ching.
Just a couple things to bring to your attention. Number one, very thankful that the Library Foundation has made their final reimbursement for the amphitheater, and so we are 100% reimbursed. So thank you very much to the Library Foundation for their support for that great little facility. Just a reminder, as if you need to be reminded of all this, that we are in the final 2 weeks for budget discussions. Recommendations are continuing to be brought forward to various committees that will be meeting over the next 2 months, or 2 weeks, I'm sorry. And then the final presentation of that will be presented in 2 weeks on August 25th. We will have, by that time, by August 25th, the new city valuations, and so we'll be able to give you accurate and full details at that particular meeting. And then finally, I just want to extend my appreciation to David and to Aaron for having done a great job of getting our reapplication for the Inland Port Authority posted on the state's website. So thank you guys. I will be shocked if we don't hear that we were the very first ones because they were diligent to pounce on that thing as soon as it opened up. Again, the state changed the statute, is allowing just 3 additional locations around the state. We really hope that we're going to be able to be one of those 3. So staff will keep you informed in the weeks and months to come. So thank you, unless you have any questions for me.
When will you hear?
Not real sure. I don't think they've really indicated how long of a time period they might leave it open.
The rollout was a little bumpy.
Yeah, it was a little bumpy, but they pounced on it as soon as it actually was available. So I'm guessing month and a half, something like that. We'll know. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question? What grounds does the city have to make someone mow the curb area like 16th and Nebraska on the northwest corner there? The weeds are almost as tall as the stop sign. And I just was
That'll
curious
be
if the city
something
crew
for
could go by and just.
Mr. Heaton.
Yeah. Anything that sticks up more than I think it's 12 inches now, something like that. Yeah, then we can definitely address. I know some concerns or frustrations have been had over even the stuff that just grows over the curb and kind of starts growing out in the middle of the street, and I guess I just, encourage property owners to take pride in their property and keep those things trimmed up as much as they can. But things that are growing elevation-wise over 12 inches, we could definitely pounce on. So just make sure we get that address and we'll look into it. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to propose a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Blair City Council.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Please register your vote.